one.
We're going to take a minute to let people continue join in. We've got a few different angles going, so I'll be looking in different directions. We've got Zoom, we've got our Instagram over here, we're gonna have Facebook over here. I'm still setting that up, but Alfonso is a part of the Plant-Based on a Budget team. He is the stock photographer. He is super talented, and if you have pre-ordered the Plant-Based on a Budget Quick and Easy Cookbook, he is the photographer behind it, and his photos are so beautiful. They make you want to jump into it and put it in your mouth. It definitely will inspire you to make the food.
I sure hope so, Tony. Thank you for the kind words. And yeah, I hope everybody feels that feeling that Tony describing when you see the photos, that it's just very honest food, that what you see on the photo is how you will make it, and it will look good.
Do you want to tell them how you got involved with Plant-Based on a Budget?
Yeah, it was when in 2018,
I think early 2019.
Early 2019, I got on the phone with Paul, Tony's husband, just catching up, and we were talking. Like, Paul was like, "Hey, what are you up to right now?" And I think at the time I had just moved to DC. Let me just see. This phone just went off. Let me take a look. Give me 1 second.
This is your password. Thank you.
All right, I think Instagram is back on. Yeah. So as I was saying, that Paul was asking me, like, what are you up to? And at the time I was working with my cousin's company doing some real estate development. But in the back, I was trying to pursue my photography career. And I told Paul, I was like, yeah, I just bought a camera and I am trying all of these, everything I can do to make money, event photography, headshots, anything that you can think of that I will try to work and make money. I was doing it. And then he asked me, he's like, hey, have you ever taken photos of food? And I said, just with my phone for fun. And he was like, well, let me talk to Tony. Maybe she can help you out and maybe, yeah, give you an opportunity. So I spoke with you and you asked me the same question, right? Have you ever taken photos of food?
Yeah.
And I said, sort of with my phone for fun, for Instagram, or just, and then we tested it out with the pancakes, with the first recipe, these banana pancakes, and you saw potential in me, and I'm very grateful, and then slowly continue learning, and yeah, now thanks to Tony and the opportunity, she brought me along to be part of this cookbook, and now I'm here.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever tried to take photos of your food, but it is extremely hard. It's not something that you are like, oh yeah, now I'm a food photographer. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of studying on how to style food, a lot of trial and error. And I'm so proud of Alfonso because he has nailed it. If you go on plantbasedonabudget.com at any time, look closer so that people over here can know that I'm not by myself. If you go to plantbasedonabudget.com, you can see a lot, like pretty much all of the photos now at this point. Most of them have been retaken from Alfonso, and they're much better, much more appetizing. I used to get comments from people saying, hey, your photos are not that good, and so I'm not inspired to make them. Yeah. And I'm really glad that they don't say that anymore. And they say the opposite.
I'm so glad to. Yeah.
So today we're going to be meal planning together, and Alfonso is going to be helping me while I talk to you and answer some questions. We've got the Q&A over here, and then I'll walk over to the Instagram live over here. I wasn't able to get my Facebook up, so I hope nobody's watching or trying to watch there, but I really appreciate your time. I know it's so valuable. It's a weekend, and I'm so excited to be together today. Thank you so much. I'm going to start with just showing what we're making. I'll walk it over. We're going to be making this delicious pasta salad, and it's very quick to come together. I like to make it on the weekend and it lasts all week. There are a few things about it. One, that it's super customizable. It's very quick to throw together. I have some customization to show you later on in the demo, but there are also 2 ways to prepare it. You can mix it all together, which we're going to do, but you can also put it in one of these tall jars. It doesn't have to be exactly like this one, but what I like about putting it in these jars is that you can put the dressing on the bottom, which I'm going to show you throughout the demo. You can put the dressing on the bottom and not have your noodles be too soft. Sometimes when you mix the pasta salad with the dressing, they can get a little bit mushy at the end of the week, and this is a way to prevent that. Okay, so let me know in the comment section if you are cooking along with me today.
So I do see we have Paula Flores. She's mentioning how we cannot use the chat.
Yes, please just use the Q&A. I'm so sorry. We were trying to fix the chat and I don't know how. I'm very bad with technology. I tried and we tried to Google it and we couldn't get it to work. But over here on Instagram, I do see you. I see your chat going. I'll walk over there in a bit and answer whatever questions that you have. And then over here, if you can use the Q&A function, you can use it just like a chat and I'll go over and answer questions. Alphonse is going to be doing a lot of the prep work while I walk you through why we do what we do and talk with the Q&A function in the chat. So we're going to start with boiling the water. I already filled my pot with water. I just got a big old pot. I eyeball it, but if you're not as comfortable, you can follow the directions. We're going to start with a pound of your favorite pasta. I like fun pasta shapes. Alphonse is going to show you some of the shapes that we're using today. And it can be whatever's on sale. It can be, it can be elbow macaroni. It can be what you can buy in bulk. But I bought the kind that are squiggly just because they're cute, and I wanted it to be cute for you guys. So we're starting with boiling 1 pound of pasta. And again, we've already started the water. And while we chop, that will be going in the background. Okay.
What would you like me to do?
We're going to start a little bit different. If you already have the recipe, I know I sent it to many people. So if you have the recipe and you're going on the recipe, you can continue doing that. But I'm going to start this one a little bit different because we're going to show you the 2 ways to prepare it. We're going to do the one that is layered, and that will make it less soft by the end of the week. And then we're going to do a regular pasta salad, which is mixed together, and you can put them in your Tupperware and grab and go at lunchtime. I know that I've worked at different jobs, and not all jobs have a bowl to dump your pasta salad in and stir it. And sometimes you don't even have that time. So if you want to go the quick and easy route, that's the way I go. But if you have, maybe you work from home and you have a bowl and you have a fork and you have just more time to mix the layered version, that's fine too. So first, we're going to start with the wet ingredients, and we will go with 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar.
Okay.
And I'm going to walk over here and answer any questions that we have right now. Well, Alfonso does that. Okay, so we have someone who's asking about Instagram. On Instagram, I'm plant-based on a budget, and you can click my picture and it'll probably have the little live button, and you'll want to click that to see us there. Awesome. I see someone's cooking along. I'm going to walk over here and get really close to you all. Hi. Sorry, my face is all up in this. Let's see if I have any questions yet. Please feel free to ask any plant-based questions as well as recipe questions. And for anybody who is on the Instagram live right now, you can join over on the Zoom. If you go to my Instagram stories, I did put the link to come onto the Zoom, which has a wider screen and has the chat function that I can pay closer attention to. Okay, so you've got this. Let's put a little tiny bit in this,
All right.
and then we'll put the rest in this big bowl.
Perfect.
We're going to start with the wet ingredients. Remember, you can go, if you're using the recipe that I sent out, you can go in the order of what's written, but because we're showing the two different ways, I'm going to put the wet ingredients first.
Okay, so we do
Then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of oil and 1/4 cup of lemon juice.
all right.
I will.
So I'm gonna do like one in each.
I don't know how often you're in this position, but it seems like whenever I'm trying to cook a meal and I go and buy all of the ingredients, I always forget something all the time, every single time. And I cook a lot. And so today, when Alfonso went to the grocery store and bought all the ingredients, he's like, no, I forgot the lemons. And I know that experience very well, but fortunately, it's citrus season here in Northern California, and my neighbors had lemons, so we just kind of like took a couple. They're very generous.
Look at this. I've never in my life picked a fresh lemon off a tree, so it was a special day.
Yeah, let me know. Have you ever picked lemons or oranges or any citrus off of a tree? Do you have any fruit trees? When we moved into our place, planted some trees, and now I'm a tree obsessed person. I have 12 fruit trees, and I don't even have a big space. I've planted them 3.5 feet from each other, so that's very, very close. Okay. He's going to start with the lemons.
How much we're doing? How much?
We're doing a 1/4 cup.
1/4 cup. Okay.
I'm gonna walk back over, answer any questions. Let me know in the chat box if you are cooking along with us. I thought it would be fun to do this recipe since it's Sunday and the work week starts tomorrow, and since we're here together, it might as well be something that can serve us all week. And there are a lot of ways to make this customizable. I know a lot of people in my audience don't eat oil, and that's totally fine for this recipe. We just put some in, but if you don't eat oil, that's again totally fine. What I like to do instead is put some avocado cut up right when I serve it. So I'll bring an avocado to work, and you can even take a plastic butter knife and slice it and just squeeze it in and stir it up. So it's got that like fatty feel and mouth feel and taste, and it's delicious.
That sounds really good.
It's very good. I have one just so that when we go over the optional additions, I have one right here so you can see how I do it. Next, we're going to, you put the...
Yeah, so far we have olive oil and balsamic vinegar on each one of the containers.
Okay, now we're
Water.
going to go with the garbanzo beans.
Perfect. Rinse them.
I will rinse, you'll drain them, rinse them. You can make your own beans. I love to make my own beans, and one thing that you can do is freeze them. They freeze really, really well. If you're going to do a big batch, I have a lot of ways to make beans in both the new Plant-Based on a Budget Quick and Easy and also the original Plant-Based on a Budget cookbook. I'll walk you through how you do it and provide different you have a question?
No, I was just gonna mention that I'm about to rinse these chickpeas and I'll be back.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Oh yes, I will, either do a big batch on the stove, or if you have a pressure cooker or a slow cooker, you can also do it there. And the cool thing about slow cookers and pressure cookers is that they've been around long enough now where you can save a bunch of money. And I found my slow cooker at the thrift store for $4 and it's been holding strong this whole time. And I also got my Instant Pot used on Amazon. It was a return and I saved $30 because it had a big dent in it, but it's totally functional and you can still save money, but you can also do it on the stovetop too, of course. And then once it's cooked and cooled, you'll lay them on a baking sheet and allow them to dry off a little bit, then freeze them. And you can do them in individual portions. For example, one can that's 15 ounces is 1.5 cups of cooked chickpeas.
Oh.
So if you wanted to always have them measured out, that's a good way to do it.
That's a really good idea. I don't think I've ever made my own chickpeas from scratch.
Oh, they're
from
so
whole.
good. Yeah, they're so good. They're like the perfect chewiness, and also you can control the sodium. I know a lot of people in my audience are always trying to lower their sodium intake, and of course you can purchase and rinse, but if you want to go no salt, that's a good option.
And what's the process when you want to use them? Just take them out of the freezer and run them through water, or what?
Yeah, you can let them thaw in the fridge overnight.
Okay.
Like if you want to pull a few out for the work week,
Mhm.
you can let them thaw in the refrigerator. You can toss them in a soup or in a stir fry or whatever curry and let them cook in there. And it's
That's a really good idea.
thank you.
How much is it like to buy dry chickpeas?
I recently went to Walmart to go do a new price check of things, and my audience primarily shops at Walmart. And I saw that they are about $1.29 per pound to $1.50 per pound of beans, like the different varieties of beans. And you can get them cheaper if you shop at a place like Winco, and you can get them in bulk. And yeah, it's a big money saver.
It is for sure.
When I'm cooking pinto beans, for example, they triple in size, so they get really puffy, and it's just a great protein at a low cost.
For sure.
Okay, so we'll put a little handful in here just to show it.
Our rinsed chickpeas are ready.
Yep. And then we'll put the rest in here.
Okay.
And if you like more protein, you can add in a different type of bean or double it up. I sometimes double it up because I really like chickpeas and they're filling for me. So again, totally customizable. Next, we're going to go with the cucumber. Alfonso's going to cut up some cucumbers. Let's do, since these are little, let's do 3.
Do you want me to dice them?
Please.
Okay.
You can dice them or slice them or cut them in any way you want to.
All right, so this one's I'm gonna first like cut the ends and then slice them in half lengthwise. And then I think what I'm going to do to make it easier for me, it's then cut this lengthwise cucumbers in half. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other 2. That way my process will be a little bit faster.
I love the smell of the fresh cucumbers.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife at home during the summer in Maryland, she grows her own cucumbers. And I think, yeah, I met her in 2018, and I think I ate my first fresh cucumber in 2019, and it was absolutely wild. How different do they taste?
Yes.
Like and the crunchiness and everything.
I feel the same way about tomatoes. I don't know if anybody has ever had fresh tomatoes, but here in the Central Valley of California, they grow so abundantly and they're so fresh, and a very different experience than when I buy them from the grocery store.
For sure. So now I have like what I've done is a bunch of spears like this. And I feel like it'll just be easier for me at least to dice them.
They look very good and they smell very
They
good.
do smell fantastic.
How did you pick this one at the grocery store?
This specific,
Variety.
because the other ones were a little too thick.
Okay.
And I remember Sarah, my wife, once told me that when they're like very thick, the seeds tend to be a lot bigger. Yeah, and I personally, I bought it once, and I personally did not like a very seedy cucumber. So now whenever I shop for cucumbers, I try to buy the regular cucumbers, rather they're long, but I try not to get them when they're like really thick and a little too big, because just the seeds are, personally, I'm not a huge fan.
I think that that's a great choice, and I like how these are very crisp. But you can use any cucumbers that you have. I usually go for what's the cheapest at the grocery store when I'm shopping. I'm always looking for a sale. We could talk a little bit more about money saving tips if you want to ask any questions, but that's usually how I shop. I know a lot of people have their preferences and like their brands and the variety that they super love.
Sure.
But I'm always looking for a deal. I remember my mom, she was on a tight budget growing up, and because she was in a place when we were teenagers to buy name brand foods, it was a sense of pride for her that she could afford to buy name brand foods for her kids. And so, yeah, I know, I understand everybody has the things that they like. You can put a little bit in there and then the rest in there.
Okay, so as you can see, if you're following along, here are the diced cucumbers, and I'm just gonna split them. Go. All right.
Okay, so we had a question that the recipe called for 1 cucumber, but we're cutting up 3. These are really small. You can't tell from the video, but these are not a full cucumber, like the kind that I'm sure that most people are using who are cooking along. These are tiny.
They're kind of like the size of your phone.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, of an iPhone, you would say.
They're skinny and they're short. So that's why he's using more to equal 1 bigger cucumber. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we'll do the whole thing of tomatoes just because we have them.
Perfect. Good.
I call for 1.5, but if you have a pint, 1.5 cups, but if you have a pint, you can just use all of them if you don't have anything else to use those tomatoes in later. I remember when I first started plant-based on a budget, it was all about recipes, and it was before I started offering meal planning.
What happened?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It was before I started offering meal plans and focusing on how to use all of the ingredients. And one thing that I remember very vividly someone saying was that there were recipes that didn't use the whole onion or the whole cucumber or all of the tomatoes, and then you have this just half of a cucumber left. And so I want to encourage people with my recipes, and especially with my books, to throw in extra produce if you have it, throw in extra ingredients that I didn't call for, really make it your own and use up anything so it doesn't expire. I'm all about trying to lessen my food waste, and I encourage that. So yes, we have a pint. We're going to throw the whole thing in there, but if you have something else that you can use the rest of them, if you only wanted to use 1.5 cups, you're welcome to just snack on them or save the rest. When I develop my meal plans, I usually save some of the ingredients because it's very, very budget conscious, and make sure that I portion them out so that I can use it in tomorrow's recipe or the next thing that I'm batch cooking. And it's a way that I've saved a lot of money. I was in extreme debt for a long time. I couldn't even rent a went to an apartment or get a car loan or anything. And I was able to become more free financially because of meal planning as one of my main ways of thinking smarter and putting a little bit of effort in to lower my costs. So I hear the water rumbling. I'm going to pour in this pasta now.
Okay, so I'm almost done dicing, I mean, not dicing, cutting the cherry tomatoes in half. Anthony, but what are your tips to grocery shop on a budget? Like, how do you, it's so hard. I've tried it and I'm getting better thanks to you and my job with you, but still I find it to be a little challenging.
Yes, I remember when I started meal planning for plant-based on a budget, I had gone based on what was available for the max allotment in government assistance food budget. And at that time, for one person, it was $180 a month. And I was able to get my food expenses down to $100 a month. And you actually did the plant-based on a budget meal plan challenge too, which there are free meal plans on plant-based on a budget where you too can learn and use the printable grocery shopping list and recipes. But when I do that, I stick to a meal plan. It's so hard to stay disciplined, but it's also very important to not shop impulsively. And if you wanted to buy things like a splurge item that's maybe not in the foods that you need, but you want, like for me, I like ice cream, or I'll like a bag of chips. I make sure that I plan for those in my food budget so that I'm not shopping impulsively later and going and getting a $3 or $5 scoop of ice cream at the ice cream shop and instead getting a whole pint for $5. And I just want to make sure that I'm not making impulsive decisions. I used to have an hour and a half commute each way at work. And I knew that when I came home, if I didn't have anything, I was going to totally go to Chipotle or something like that. So just being thoughtful, that's my number one tip. And there are so many resources available. There are mine on plantbasedonabudget.com, but there are also many others. I even included one in my new cookbook, Plant-Based on a Budget, Quick and Easy. And it's saved me a ton of money over time. Once you're at the grocery store is designed to make you spend money. There are big signs, there's beautiful marketing, and so you just have to stay the course, have your plan in place, and not fall into the big beautiful sale sign that's in your face.
That's usually what I fall for sometimes, like it's on sale, but still pricey in some cases, right? Okay, good tips. I appreciate it.
We've got the pasta going on the stove right now. I'm gonna go stir it while Alfonso next works on the onion.
All right, my favorite things to chop.
You might see Alfonso like streaming tears momentarily.
This might be my first time crying on the internet. I don't mind, but just so you know.
It'll be therapeutic.
Yeah, but you know what's my trick to cut an onion with minimal crying? What I do, I somewhat slice it under cold running water. Have you ever done that, honey?
Yes.
That's what I usually do.
Yeah. Alfonso and I, so when we were working on this cookbook, he came to live at my house with us for 2 months. That is dedication,
I know, it was
right?
amazing, though.
And we were trying to do some storage tips and tricks, both for the book and also for Plant-Based on a Budget website. And I remember, were we trying to freeze an onion?
We tried to
freeze an onion because we heard that would help you not cry, but it didn't work out for us. It also made our onion kind of like mushy, like wetter when you finally used it. So that did not work for us.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you off. But yeah, so what I did, I peeled it under running water, cold water, and I personally, it works for me. Not all the time, but it does help, at least me.
I'm gonna look for some questions now over here to see what's going on. I did see a couple on the Zoom. I'm sorry for anybody who was trying to watch on Facebook. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work. That's why I didn't end up streaming there, but I hope this is good for you. It's on Instagram right now and on Zoom. Again, if you're just coming on, you can move over to Zoom if you want a bigger, clearer picture. And the link is in my Instagram stories. And then over here, I've got a couple questions. You can use any pasta that you want. My husband is a very super healthy eater and doesn't eat the same pasta that I like. I like this squiggly pasta that is like $2, but he likes bean pasta, he likes chickpea pasta, he likes lentil pasta, and this works just fine with that. My recommendation would be, though, to do more of this style, which is the layering, so that it doesn't get mushy. That would be my big suggestion, because when we're going to store it in two different ways, we've got the regular container, like a regular Tupperware, and this will all be mixed. That's how I would do it, but that's with the regular semolina pasta. And with the bean or lentil, I would go with this style of layering. And if you're meal prepping this on another day, or maybe even right now, you could do a bunch of them, maybe like 5, 1 for every day of the work week. This would definitely have enough for all 5 of them, and you can just do a handful of each of the ingredients as you go along. Okay.
How is the pasta looking?
It's going.
All right.
There's another question for those who have purchased my new cookbook. I can't believe it comes out in 9 days.
Can't believe it either.
In 9 days. I don't know where time went. I feel like I just started this project, but it's actually been 2 years in the making.
Wow.
And Alfonso came and lived with us 1 year ago. 1 year ago. So January 1st.
I arrived January 1st
Yeah.
to the place, yeah.
And he also came right when he and his wife bought a house, and also right when he was living with us, he found out that he was going to be a dad.
Yeah, I think we were cooking one of the mornings, right? That we will wake up and we'll have our recipe list for like the ones you will see on the cookbook. And I think we were cooking one of the casserole dishes. It was the cornbread casserole. Could we? Do we have that? Yeah, we have
definitely,
that.
yeah.
I think we were cooking the cornbread casserole when Sarah, my wife, she texted me. And usually every morning I will put my phone on do not disturb, because I needed to focus on, like cooking and then styling and photographing. So getting the zone of that flow. But I didn't put my phone on do not disturb, and I got the message and I see it, and it was a text message from my wife with a pregnancy test. Obviously I called my wife, I called Sarah, and she was crying of happiness, and yeah, so that was, I think, late January when that happened.
And it was funny because I remember me and my husband and Alfonso were having dinner, and we had FaceTime Sarah into it, and she's like, yeah, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, I'm glad maybe I have COVID, and we're like, oh, cool. I'm sorry that that's happening. I'm glad you're able to isolate. And turns out she was pregnant. Okay, we're gonna put a little handful in this,
Right. So
and then the rest in there.
onions are diced, and you see, are you crying?
Nope,
Me neither.
no tears.
So for me, it works. Hopefully, if you try that trick of peeling your onion under running cold water, hopefully helps you too.
I wonder if you have like a bowl of water instead of running the water, if you could do it in the bowl,
So
like a small bowl.
To save some water.
Yeah, I'm in California
Yeah.
and we're a drought state, so I'm always looking to save water.
Sure.
When we were recipe developing and testing and photographing and food styling and the whole process, we were in my house and we also had a friend who was helping with dishes because we were creating massive amounts. It was a really tough process. And so we had some help, and the way she did her dishes was with the water on the whole time, and I had to say, hey, will you please turn the water off in between? And I felt so bad because I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but also water is very
Precious.
here.
Yeah.
And we've been in a drought for so long here in Northern California, and so that's why I did that.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm coming back. Okay, so frozen onions, that's a great question. I think that whatever is going to make you eat more produce is good news to me. I know people who only use frozen onions or jarred garlic or pre-chopped frozen veggies, and I feel like that if that is what it takes to eat those vegetables, you got to do it. And I've gone back and forth on my garlic. I used to be 1000% jarred garlic, and now I've gone back to having garlic press, and now I'm back to the garlic press because I don't know, this fresh garlic is really good. I can eat a lot of garlic, and so I take shortcuts all the time, and I understand them very, very much.
No, it's a good one. So pasta is ready. I don't know, you guys, if you want to check on your pasta as well, make sure it doesn't get overcooked. This one is perfect. So just drain it. Do you want to run it in cold water or just let it cool down?
We'll let it chill for a little bit while we are still chatting. And if anybody has any questions, please do let me know in the chat box. I'll be answering the questions for a little bit longer. And then let's see. Okay, so frozen. I have done a lot of videos on shopping for produce. That's very inexpensive. It's something that I hear all the time from people who are very cost conscious. They're trying to save money and eat healthy, and they're concerned about keeping within the budget, especially with produce. And there are so many stores that are unassuming that you would just not think to go into that have produce available. Walmart, I mentioned this earlier, it's the #1 place my audience shops. I've done a survey, leaps and bounds over any other grocery store. And I've done lots of videos if you are interested in learning some of the food prices there. If you live near a Dollar Tree, I did a what I eat in a day plus what you can buy if you're on a tight budget. I think I showed maybe 4 or 5 days of eating for $10. And we cooked brown rice. I made a big soup. I made a stir fry.
Wow.
I showed how you can buy dried beans from there. It's not processed food that I'm promoting. It's whole foods. And it can nourish you even if you are shopping at a place that seems limited in its options. But also check the frozen section in those places. Like I remember at Dollar Tree there was a lot of frozen berries. Yeah, frozen berries, frozen stir fry mixes, and even a vegan patty, like a meat patty.
I gotta check it out. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting. I think on the video I served it with like a brown rice stir fry. Okay. Over here we've got frozen. We said Julie said, I only use frozen to avoid wasting on the wet eyes. But now you know Alfonso's trick, so you gotta try that one.
If you ever come across a fresh onion, just run it under a little cold water, or maybe just, I think I'm gonna try the bowl of water and just kind of like clean it up as I have it in the cold water. But yeah, most of the time I also use frozen onion. It's just such a time saver as well. You know, it's already diced, and yeah.
Okay, so we had a couple people ask for the recipe. If you find me on Instagram, or if you know my email, which I'll tell you both, it's at Plant Based on a Budget on Instagram, or Tony at plantbasedonabudget.com. I will send you the recipe, and the recipe is also coming out in my new cookbook, which is out in 9 days. I can't believe it. It is Plant Based on a Budget, quick and easy. You will find the meal prep pasta salad. And this book, what's different about it versus my other cookbook is that this is all about getting in the kitchen and out of the kitchen as fast as possible. There are a lot of other recipes that I have where you can take your time, and everything is made from scratch, and it can be a therapeutic experience. But this is for really busy people who are time strapped, they've got a lot to do, but want to eat healthy and want to stay on a budget. I teach you all those things in this cookbook, and that's how I find myself eating these days. There's a mix and match bowl that really is representative of how I've been eating while I'm in this just really incredibly busy time in my life. I'll have a batch of brown rice, some baked tofu, or a pot of beans, and we'll whip them together with some frozen veggies and that are sauteed up in a sauce. It can be one of the sauces or vegetable mixes in my book, but it could also be a mix and match of some store-bought things, like your favorite dressing from the grocery store with everything else from scratch, or baked tofu from the grocery store instead of marinating it yourself if you're really short on time. So you can pick and choose the route you want to take. All of the recipes are also very versatile, and I again encourage you to play with your food. I even have these my tips sections. If you have my other cookbooks, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll walk this over actually so you can see it. But I leave room for the readers to write in. I'm going to walk it over here. To write in their own modifications of the recipes. So maybe you have certain preferences, like I know this is really wild, I don't like mushrooms, and so I usually modify recipes with mushrooms, but maybe your kids will only eat it if it has this ingredient, or whatever it is, how you swapped, what you added, what was cheaper at your grocery store. You can make notes so that next time you make it and you want to replicate it, you remember what you did.
I like that. I don't think I've ever seen anything like a section like that on other cookbooks.
Thank you. Okay. Maybe a little bit of water over just to stop the steaming.
I'm gonna run a little water over the pasta to cool it down a little faster if you want to do the same.
Okay. I see Tammy, you're looking for the recipe. If you shoot me an email, I promise I will get you the recipe right after. And if anyone has any more questions, I am happy to answer them before we go. And if you have any questions about my cookbook, feel free to shoot me an email or ask me here. It's coming out in 9 days. For this book, it feels really scary, and I feel like I feel even weird wanting this or thinking it can be possible, but I really am going to try to go for some bestsellers lists with this cookbook. And I've worked so hard for so many years on it, and it's like I even am getting a little bit emotional thinking about it, but I just feel like I can do it, and your support means so much to me. So I really appreciate you being here. being part of my community, being interested in my book. And of course, thank you, Alfonso, for all your help today. We're gonna add the pasta.
Let me run this down to people that maybe just joined the live.
Yes, please.
So in here
We've got lemon juice, some oil, but if you don't need oil, you can skip the oil. We've got some balsamic vinegar, garbanzo beans, tomatoes, red onion, but you can use any onion you have. You can also throw in some bell pepper if you wanted to. We've got cucumbers. I've got some other things in here. We are gonna add these.
Okay.
But I also have some corn. This is some whole kernel corn that if you had a can, you can toss that in. We're using black olives because they're the cheapest, but if you had Kalamata or green olives or whatever other olives you want, they would also be good in there.
Okay, so I'm gonna add these sliced black olives. Just gonna add a little bit to each one of the bowls or jars.
And then, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining, one thing that I really like to do, avocados are inexpensive where I live. I know that's not the case everywhere, but it's often the case for me to buy an avocado for 50 cents or 80 cents. If it's really expensive, it's like $1.50.
Wow.
And so we can eat avocados. Again, I know that's not the case for everybody, but if you do have avocados, it's really good. I like to add it before I eat it. I know that's not always easy when you're traveling and maybe you're taking it for work. So what I'll do is I'll cut it in half, keep the pit in, and put the pit in, like when we mix it all together, I'll just put the whole half in there and then I'll squeeze it out and with my fork mix it in and like smash it in, and it gives it that really like more of like a dressing, a thicker dressing than just the balsamic vinaigrette that we created. Okay, so you'll add this in here and then a little bit of.
So we're adding our cooked pasta. It's cooler now. How much would you like me to add?
Just add one handful here.
Okay.
And then the rest in there. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you have a big appetite like I do, you can really squish it down and add more pasta in it so that you stay fuller throughout the day. The other way to serve it, if you're just coming in, the reason we served it this way is so that the noodles don't get soggy. If you're doing chickpea noodles or lentil noodles, I really like it this way because those are more likely to get soft throughout the week. With this one, I don't see it as big of a problem, but I still like to do it this way because it's really pretty. Okay,
I got my parsley here.
Gonna mix in the parsley. I have a garden. I love growing my own food. I live in a place where that is a little bit easier. Our growing season is very long. Let me know if you're a gardener and what you're growing or what you grow in the summer. But I have so much cilantro and parsley. Oh, no, I don't have any cilantro anymore. I have so much parsley. I have so much parsley, and I don't even know what to do with it. So if you tell me what you make with some parsley, I would be grateful because I don't know what to do with all of it anymore.
All right. What am I doing to this parsley?
You are going to mince it. Can you tell them what you're doing?
So right now I'm the way I like to mince herbs or fresh parsley, basil, instead of just letting it loose like that and chop it, I like to first I washed it. I like to kind of like gently, try not to be too rough, otherwise it can bruise. I wrap it into a little bowl, tuck your nails, and then start like gently slicing it. That way it's a little easier, and I find it like safer for me too, that I have way more control of the herbs, so like can be like all over the place, and then so that they become like these long, right, long stripes, you could say, and then I turn it, and then I will go a little rougher to make sure I get any of those like big pieces that I don't want. Yep. I think
It
that's
smells very, very good.
Okay.
I'm going to add just a handful of this. Will you do a little bit more for this one?
Yeah, of course.
You can just plop it on top. And what we're doing with this later, I think this is the last ingredient. So when I am meal prepping with it, I'll just do a bunch of these, like 4 or 5, and it doesn't have to be in this style of container. I just like the tall ones to keep everything a little bit more separate. I would really squish everything down and these, and then I'll put my lid on it. I'll close it up. And, oh wait, like this, like this.
I think it's the other way. The little.
No, like that.
Ah,
Is it like this?
yeah, I've never. And then you kind of really.
Oh yeah, take this.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 All right.
Okay, so we're doing it like, we don't know if it's the right way, but this is what it'll look like. I'll line these up in the refrigerator, and as the week goes by, I'll just grab one and go. And it makes lunchtime so much easier, and it prevents me and my husband from either doing a DoorDash order, or he works out of the house. So making a stop somewhere to grab some lunch. Again, that's this one. And then if you don't want to put in that effort of layering, which that's me, I will just mix up a big batch like this, and we'll also add in some salt and pepper. You can add in some red chili flakes. Again, you can add in a bell pepper or avocado or corn. Those are all great additions. You can add in different types of beans, and it'll all be very good. You can also, if you wanted to, add in some more protein. You can do little tiny bites of tofu.
Nice.
And what I would do if you're layering it like this, keep them at the bottom so that they marinate. And
It's really good.
yeah, it is, it's good, it's tasty. So you'll just mix it like this, and then you're good to go throughout the week. And it smells so delicious and fresh, and you can really, thank you, you can really pack in your veggies also by adding whatever you have on hand. Anything that's about to expire, that's that you want to prevent from tossing in the garbage, which is the worst feeling, could be added into this. And other herbs that would do well are basil, that would be good. You could even do some cilantro in there, and it'll be tasty. Let me know if you have any questions.
Let me look at the chat for you.
Okay. Yes, the book is available anywhere you buy books. You can buy it on Amazon. That was the question. Is it available on Amazon? You can definitely do that. You can also buy it from Barnes & Noble or your local bookstore. I will also be doing some events right now. You can do signed copies from the Strand. You can also come and see me if you live in either the Bay Area. I'll be in San Francisco at Book Passage at 1 p.m. on the 4th. And then on the 5th, I'll be in Sacramento at a seat at the table at 12 p.m. And we're also going to be celebrating my birthday there. So there will be cupcakes. What are some other questions?
Patricia Baylock, hi Patricia. She's asking, hi Tony, do you have any vegan and gluten-free bread recipes in your new book?
I don't. So with Plant-Based on a Budget, the first cookbook, I wanted to show that you could make everything from scratch and save so much money. I showed people how to make their own pizza dough, their own bread. But with this one, because it's how to get in and out of the kitchen as quickly as possible, I'll show you how to make something like a hummus pizza, but you would buy the crust from the grocery store, or maybe use one that you've made multiple batches of and froze. And so this one's more about in and out as fast as possible, and not so much the cooking from scratch that you may have seen in the first Plant-Based on a Budget cookbook.
Then we have Lashanda Lomax. She's saying,
Also shout out, thank you, Lashanda, for helping recipe test for me. I appreciate it.
She's saying, not a question, but I'm super excited about this book and keep stalking my emails, waiting for it to say it should. Same with me.
Thank you so much. It should be coming out. If you've pre-ordered it, I saw that a lot of books are starting to get their shipments. So chances are you'll get it a little bit early before the 7th.
Okay, so then we have Tammy is asking for your email.
My email is Tony, Toni, at plantbasedonabudget.com. I will send over the recipe to anybody who wants it for the recipe that we made today. And if you have any questions and you want to ask me privately, please feel free to reach out to me there. I'm also very active in my Instagram inbox. So if you want to ask me something there, I'll absolutely see it.
Okay. And Julie's also saying, I only use frozen onions to avoid waste and wet ice. I'll follow your tips. Then we have, so Diamond Jackson, will the pasta be boiled al dente? That's your preference, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But this one is al dente. This one is because I feel like it will be important to cook it a little bit al dente, since you're gonna be mixing, since you're gonna be tossing it. You don't want it to, if it's a little overcooked, it might start to break apart. And if you don't mind that type of pasta, go like a little overcooked pasta, go for it. But in my preference, I do like a little al dente.
Yeah. Alfonso likes it like a lot of al dente.
Yeah. Not like, no way you can still feel a crunch, but almost there. Where you get, when I like it when you break it and you still see a little white dot in it. That's my
preference.
That's my point of pasta.
Okay, let's go. Before we wrap up, I'm gonna go over to see if we missed any questions on Instagram. I got some people saying hello, friends. I don't see any right off the. Okay. 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 So someone said, I put parsley leaves in the blender with a little bit of water and blend until pureed. I lost it. Then I spoon the pureed parsley into an ice cube tray, and then when frozen, put the cubes in a container. So that's smart.
That's a good tip.
I've seen a lot of like memes about that. How if you can either do it in water, or you can do it in a little bit of olive oil. Freeze fresh herbs that have been minced into ice cube trays with either the water or the oil if you use oil, and then you can toss it on your hot pan so that it can melt out and have those herbs ready for you to cook when you're ready. That's so smart. Thank you for sharing that.
Because I always have a little extra whenever I buy cilantro or parsley. I always have a little extra, and I think you're gonna show us how to maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, pretend we didn't use part of this. If you wanted to, so say you didn't use all your parsley. If you want to use all your parsley in this, I say go for it. I don't think it can have too much parsley, but if you already think that it's too strong, or that parsley can be overpowering, then I would only use what's recommended in the recipe. And if you want to save the rest, how I save my parsley and my cilantro is I take it like this. I cut. You see me? You see this? I cut the bottom like that. And then I take a glass. You can just grab any cup. I fill it with water. You can do halfway water like this. And then I stick it in here like a bouquet of flowers. And it'll keep this lasting so much longer. If you're going to leave it in there for more than a few days, I would change the water because it gets kind of funky and it has a funky smell. And if you wanted to extend your parsley even more, you could get something like, I use these reusable bags and you can cover it. I have ones that are longer. This one is like a snack bag, so it's too short, but you can get the whole thing. You can also do this with a plastic bag if you have plastic bags, and cover it so that it extends the life just a little bit longer. And I know my husband, before I started doing this, called our home the place cilantro comes to die. It's such an easy thing to let go bad very quickly. And this is just a way to extend the life a little bit. I have a bunch of other tips in my new book because I want to prevent your food waste. It'll save you so much more money. It is better for the environment and better for us, better for our wallets to not toss our food in the trash. So I have some tips in there, and I'm going to look at our questions one more time, but I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here with me today. Thanks, Alfonso, for all of your help putting this beautiful recipe together and being the amazing photographer of the new Plant-Based on a Budget Quick and Easy. If you have interest in Plant-Based on a Budget Quick and Easy, which is out in just over a week, you can go to plantbasedonabudgetcookbook.com. and you'll find all the places that it's available to purchase. You'll also be able to get the pre-order incentives. I have some meal planning resources for you that are free, and I hope you love the book so much. I'm going to just walk over here one more time before I say goodbye. Okay. Yeah, so the event will be available. The book will be available at the events that I'm speaking at, or I guess I'm not really speaking. I'll be talking to people and signing books and hanging out and eating cupcakes. And so there will be books available, and I will be signing and hanging out, and I'm very, very excited. If you're there, you'll get to meet my parents and my family and my husband and all my friends. So I hope to see you in Sacramento and in San Francisco. Okay, let's see. I'll walk over here one more time. Hello, Instagram friends. Okay, I don't see any questions. All right, thank you so much. Again, have a wonderful day. I will be by my email if you have any questions or if you want that recipe, and have a great week. I hope you enjoy your recipe.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy. We're about to also have early dinner.
Yes, early pasta salad dinner.
Yum.
All right, bye.
Bye.